Hello, and welcome to this video demonstration of how Tonkean is helping legal operations teams to transform the way they get work done. And today we're going to talk about law firm onboarding, something that many of these organizations do, something that is a struggle for a lot of organizations. Really, onboarding of any form, whether it be customers or employees or contractors, it's challenging. It involves multiple teams, it involves multiple tools, and this is something that Tonkean is uniquely good at. Because we monitor all of the tools you have today. We help you get more out of that investment. We connect them together and allow you to create automation that moves across your tool sets and across your teams. And this type of macro automation is really powerful for something like law firm onboarding. Let me show you why. So here I am in my Tonkean dashboard. I can review all of my different requests for all of my different workflows, how work is coming into Tonkean, whether it be from email or Slack or Teams. It could be from GChat, it could be from existing forms that you have. Tonkean is able to monitor all of these things and give you a clear picture of when work is coming in and how it's being categorized, who it's been assigned to, what type of work it is. So when it comes to law firm onboarding, it allows you to start the process from anywhere. If you're a legal operations professional, you can come right to the portal and log a new request using our smart forms that are conditional and allow you to ask just the relevant questions, and then update whatever system of record. It also allows the user to go to their favorite interface, whether it be, again, an existing form you have today or an existing tool, or something like Slack and say, I want to onboard a new law firm. We use natural language processing so that this could be in Teams, it could be in email, and it doesn't make a difference for the workflow. Tonkean is monitoring this and will reply back with the form that I need to begin this process. So let's say I'm on the legal operations team, and here's all of my other law firms being onboarded. I have quite a few, but let's go ahead and say I want to add a new one. I'm going to steal one of these options here. I'll say it's Calvin and Hobbes at law, and we'll go ahead and put in some simple information. All of these fields are conditional and are owned by you, so if you don't like these forms, that's completely fine. This is what I needed for my workflow, but we have multiple templates for you to use to get started with Tonkean that have best practices out of the box. In my workflow, I'm going to submit a retainer agreement. This is the information I just submitted is going to help me update my e-billing platform. And then we'll want to provide information for other teams. Instead of you having to go and provide information in multiple different systems, we allow you in a single form to update all the relevant parties. And finally, it's going to ask me about my engagement letter details so that we can start drafting an engagement letter. Many organizations have a process for this today. Tonkean can augment that and use that automation that you already have or help you to set a new automated process. So when I submit this request, first thing it does is it logs the case with Tonkean that we have this new request to onboard a new firm. And it shows the requester, the user, where they are in the process. Here's my overarching status that the request has been received, but I need to start completing my tasks, that it will eventually go to final approval before it's either blocked, meaning it's going to be closed out, we're going to reject this, or we're going to onboard the firm. And I have this nice little diagram to show me all the parallel processes happening here. And this is what Tonkean is really, really uniquely good at, is even though InfoSec review is going to happen outside of legal in a whole different tool, we still have visibility into that using our workflow because we can monitor that other team's systems and ensure that we keep them all up to date. So now I have statuses for each of my parallel processes here on the left. And as the work gets completed, as contracts get generated and retainer agreements get reviewed, it's going to update each of these statuses and roll them up to a single status. So scrolling down, you see here's my engagement letter details. It created actually a contract for me. So if you have templates that already exist, we can leverage those and pass information in them so you don't have to create a new document repository. We can leverage what you have or help you set up a new one. So I could open this, I could review the information in it. I can even display it right here in the Tonkean form and give it my approval. So this could be done by a completely different team. I could send them just the link to this form or even ask them in Slack or Teams, hey, here's the contract, here's the engagement letter, do you approve or not? And I can go ahead and approve that. So there's one of my parallel processes is now going to be sent out for e-signature. Let's let that run. and move down to our InfoSec review. Now, InfoSec is done by my IT team and they use Jira. Not a problem. Tonkean automatically created this Jira ticket and is reporting back to Legal what status it's in. Now you can pass any data you need to here. We orchestrate via API. So whatever fields that your team is using, even if it's custom fields, we can write to them and give this team the request in the form they prefer it. And this is really important because what it means is we are giving people access to the workflow in the interface they're most comfortable in. So the adoption for a Tonkean workflow is very low. If there's not a tool there today, we can provide an interface to do that, to perform that action. But if there's already an interface that they're comfortable in, whether it be Slack or Teams or email or Jira or Salesforce, it could be anything, we'll work with that and monitor it so that when the work gets done, the status is reflected back here within Tonkean. And now we'll go down to our last piece, which is the retainer agreement. The retainer agreement was uploaded, so it can get its own space to be reviewed, where the information about the retainer agreement is displayed. We do offer OCR technology, so if you want, it's called optical character recognition. So if you get regular contracts and requests in a regular format, we can actually extract data from those. Take a picture of a driver's license and extract their date of birth, that sort of thing. So that if you do get these repetitive requests, we can even automatically yank it out to help you triage this information quickly. We can, of course, assign owners to all of these different tasks, and I'm going to go ahead and approve this to be sent for e-signature as well. So my statuses have updated. We're awaiting signature. InfoSec is in process. Let's check and see. Let's check for those DocuSign contracts. So opening up my Gmail, I see that I do have my engagement letter that I approved earlier to be signed. My status back in my view is awaiting signature. Now, we do not care if you use DocuSign, Adobe Sign, or some other e-signature platform. So I'm just going to drop a quick signature on this and adopt it and sign it, close that out. Again, we'll use your templates in your preferred e-signature tool. So I'm just going to go through these quickly, and I'll also sign this retainer agreement. Tonkean is monitoring this process, and that's why I'm showing this to you. This isn't a black hole. This isn't going off to some other team and eventually maybe they email you and let you know if it was done or not. Tonkean knows once this has been signed and completed and sent back to the platform because Tonkean's monitoring DocuSign via API. And so now that I've signed both agreements, it's going to process with DocuSign. And so at this point, I have signed both of my agreements and I have moved the InfoSec review to completed. So those 3 parallel processes have been completed. So it'll take just a moment for that to update. So we'll check our statuses here, and actually didn't take a moment at all. It is signed complete, InfoSec complete, and retainer agreement complete. So where does that put us? Well, it moves us on to awaiting our final approval, as you can see in our diagram. And how does that take place? Well, Tonkean actually can send out its own special interface just for the final agreement. So let's say that you like to receive that via Slack. Again, as I've shown, we could easily do this in email, we could do this in Teams or Slack, or we could just display it here in your portal. So if you are comfortable working in this interface, then the team will receive a queue of all their final approvals waiting for them to review. My team here at Tonkean, we do like to use Slack a lot, so I'm going to hop over to our LegalOps channel. And you can see that Calvin and Hobbes is ready for their final approval before onboarding. So let's view that request. And as before, I can see all of the information about it, links to all of the contracts that have been generated, that each of these agreements have been signed complete. I can add comments, I can view timelines of this request so that the whole process is auditable. So even though this happened in multiple teams and multiple systems, this is an auditable final process at the end of the day. And I'll give it my approval. So that is how we move these requests from beginning to end, keeping a consistent status throughout of your requests, giving you visibility into parallel processes and multiple different tools so that you have this consolidated engagement, this consolidated experience that you can control. It's built 100% on no code so that all of my connections and all of my workflow logic can be owned and operated by the legal team. These are blocks that I can drag and drop around on the screen so that whenever this process is in various states, I can create the tickets, I can create and generate the documents in a no-code way. That's how Tonkean gives you this end-to-end visibility and this overall consolidated dashboard of your legal operations for your team and also for your requesters to review knowledge base articles and to be able to enter requests. So I hope this was helpful, and I'd love to talk to you some more about how Tonkean is transforming the way legal operations gets work done. Have a great day.